Say why hello, fellow Patriots, and welcome to episode 24 on the Patriot Dad channel, where we can discuss current events and modern issues, all while keeping it as real as possible. Today, unfortunately, I'm going to be skipping my normal Wednesday, and we're going to be doing this because of the urgency of the news. But we're going to be discussing the attack from this weekend that Hamas conducted in Israel. So I really wish that my previous video that I did about fighting our own weapons wasn't coming true so soon. But there's already observation by Israeli soldiers on the ground reporting that weapons from the U.S. withdrawal in Afghanistan in August of 2021 are already being observed in the hands of Palestinian groups operating in the Gaza Strip. So this weekend, I'm sure you saw the news, Hamas and other groups linked to them launched thousands of rockets into Israel from various locations and had infiltrated the territory and conducted kidnappings, killings, and other attacks. So here in an article from Newsweek, you can see that it says, more recently, the Taliban secured a substantial arsenal of U.S. weapons and equipment, including Black Hawk helicopters, after U.S. forces withdrew from Afghanistan in August of 2021. The Israeli commander with whom Newsweek spoke said some U.S. small arms seized in Afghanistan have already been observed in the hands of Palestinian groups operating in the Gaza Strip. This is concerning, to say the least, because I thought it would take longer, and I honestly thought the next place we would be fighting against our weapons, or our allies would be doing so, would be in the Ukraine, not in Israel. So how did we find ourselves here? Why do people continue to choose conflict over peace? It's happening in Israel, so there's obviously a faith aspect to it. The Palestinians fighting against the Israelis. There's two different religious groups there, but evil acts done in the name of God's name are not commanded by God. They are commanded by men, and men are flawed and of fallen nature. You don't have to go much further than John 3:16 from the New Testament to tell us what we need to know about this topic. It's quite simple, in fact. If you look here, the NIV version, which is one of many, but it's the one that I chose, John 3:16, for God so loved the world, not Christians, not Jews, not Muslims, the world. Now, all of these faiths are Abrahamic. They all agree that the Old Testament is true, that Abraham was a good guy, that his family was of good lineage, and they all agree that Jesus was a good guy and existed. It's just they disagree on what his role was. But here we see that for God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. So God loved the world, not one group over another, the world. So why do men keep choosing conflict in his name? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. That's a theological question. And if you have your own opinion, go ahead and throw it down in the comments below. Now, is the timing of this attack coincidental? We did just release $6 billion in funds that were previously frozen back to Iran's control, or at least somewhat in their control. Did we really think that that money wouldn't be used to fund things like this? Because it's already come out that there is links between Iran and Hamas and those operating in the Gaza Strip. So according to us, what we're being told about the money that was released back to Iran is that the money is now available to the Iranian government for purchase of non-sanctionable items, such as food and medicine, but is not totally under the control of the Iranian government and will not reside in Iranian banks, according to us. At least that's what we're being told. But is that true? Are we actually going to believe the words that we're telling ourselves? Are we gaslighting ourselves to the point where we don't think that that money would be used for bad purposes? I mean, in the end, the results speak for themselves, as did the Iranian president, Ibrahim Raisi, probably mispronounced that, said in an interview when this article was written that the government will decide how and where to spend the $6 billion in frozen assets, even though we tried to say that's flat out wrong. Say, congressional Republicans attempted to intervene in the process, and last month, 26 Senate Republicans, led by presidential hopeful Senator Tim Scott, sent a letter to Anthony Blinken and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen criticizing this return or release of $6 billion in exchange for prisoners. Now, why would they think this is a bad idea, other than the implications that that money could be used for nefarious purposes? Well, as stated here later in this article, while we firmly believe the United States must use every appropriate resource to secure the release of American citizens wrongfully detained overseas, This decision will reinforce an incredibly dangerous precedent and will enable the Iranian regime to increase its destabilizing activities across the Middle East. So yeah, should we reward countries for kidnapping and detaining Americans? I don't think so. It's never really been our policy to negotiate with terrorists, right? At least that's what we're told. If we erode that confidence that as an American citizen overseas that you are safe, that's not a good step. That's not a step in the right direction. We should never reward bad behavior or behavior that threatens our citizens overseas. And also, after this attack occurred, the messaging coming out of our own White House is confusing, to say the least. I mean, we say that it's clear that we condemn the actions of Hamas in the strongest terms, as stated here, but above all, we're doing everything we can so that this attack doesn't turn into a contagion with incalculable consequences for the whole region. And we warn everyone in this situation against fueling terrorism. Now, are we equating the attack on Israel? If they retaliate, are we also going to say that that's a form of terrorism? Are we going to declare that they are now escalating, and are we going to tell them to stop? Well, didn't take very long because the U.S. Office of Palestinian Affairs sent out a tweet that they later deleted, but it says, "We unequivocally condemn the attack of Hamas terrorists and the loss of life that has occurred." Probably occurred, but that's fine. "We urge all sides to refrain from violence and retaliatory attacks. Terror and violence solve nothing." While I agree that it's not preferable, I would disagree that violence doesn't solve anything. It absolutely does. It just shouldn't be our first choice. But to tell people not to retaliate after they've been attacked like this, would we be okay with it? Would we not retaliate if we were them? If, let's say, China was in Mexico and decided to start launching a bunch of missiles into the US, would we not retaliate? Would it not be our right to do so? So we say that, we don't think violence should escalate. We tell everyone that retaliatory attacks and violence are wrong. We say that we support Israel against it, and we don't like that Hamas did what they did. But, then Biden comes out afterwards and tells Benjamin Netanyahu that the United States stands with the people of Israel in the face of these terrorist assaults. Israel has the right to defend itself and its people, full stop. So what is the real message? What are we trying to tell them? So first we're telling them, please don't retaliate, don't escalate violence. Then we're like, oh no, you can do whatever you want. It's absolutely your right. So just like is par for the course with this White House, the messaging is unclear and it is increasing the instability of whatever it touches. So how can we make public statements of support when the money we released was most likely used to fund, whether directly or indirectly? Because let's be honest, if you were a nefarious country and you had a bunch of weapons that you wanted to sell somebody, and that person had just had $6 billion of money released to them, whether they had it in their account or not, it's good against an IOU in the future, right? So to say that they can't use that money for bad purposes, we really have no control over that. If a country like China or North Korea or any other country that doesn't like us wants to give them weapons against future money that they don't yet have, they're pretty much free to do so. Do we really support Israel when we provide aid and support to their enemies? Are we really their allies when everybody failed to see this coming? So here from NBC, we see that for the moment, Israel and the United States are preoccupied with the immediate crisis, but in time, there will inevitably be demands for an inquiry as to how Israel could have been caught off guard by such a large-scale and sophisticated attack, experts said. I mean, really, between Israel and the United States, we have some of the most sophisticated surveillance capabilities in the world. So how did we not see this coming? It always seems like in the wake of these attacks, whether it's on us or on our friends, we always look back on Monday morning and say, I don't know how we missed it. But we always seem to, or do we? So this attack against stability in the region and against Israel is saddening, mainly because it is a marked increase in human suffering, with the death toll approaching 1,000 people at the time of this recording on Monday. This toll will climb much higher now, as Israel has declared war for the first time in over 50 years. Sure, they've had conflicts and skirmishes going into the Gaza Strip before, but they actually declared war this time. Please pray for all the parties involved, because when God's children fight and kill each other, it makes the world a worse place. pray for peace, pray for understanding, and most of all, pray for those affected by this conflict. I just wanted to thank all of you who made it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and comment below on what your opinion or thoughts are. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell icon so that you can be notified when I upload new videos. Please share the video with friends, family, especially those prayer warriors that you know. Also, feel free to leave a comment below if you would like to recommend a future topic for this channel. I'm always open to input. Take care, everyone. God bless, and bye for now. Go ahead and check out one of the links on the screen now to either subscribe to the channel and see the rest of the videos of the channel, or one of the carefully selected videos that you may wish to see that YouTube has used its algorithm to select for you.